Hello everyone. I am Burcu Mavis, as mentioned earlier. I am from the UNDP team, the same team as Robert mentioned and also presented you. First of all, I would like to thank our panelists to join me today for this session, and I believe that this session will be very dynamic because we have the panelists from different initiatives and different countries. So I believe that we will get to learn about use cases of the blockchain adaptation for the public good. And of course, later on, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to, of course, ask your questions too. So I would like to remind our panelists that, I have several questions for you. So please keep your answers not too long, so we have time for also discussion with our audience. So I would like to ask my first question to Mr. Datuk. I have seen that your institution, Malaysian Tech Adaptation Summit, focused on blockchain initiative in October, and you had an event. So it shows us that you are running like a lot of blockchain initiatives in your country. So I would like to ask you, what are the ongoing initiatives in Malaysia currently leveraging blockchain technology to improve public good, and what results have you seen so far? Thank you already.
Okay, thank you very much, Burcu. And thank you very much to the organizers for the kind invitation to invite myself as well as my colleagues from the Malaysian Digital Economic Corporation. We are an agency under the Ministry of Digital. And our role and task is basically to undertake or are responsible on all the tasks which is related to digitalization for Malaysia as a whole. So now, with regards, before I answer your questions now, before I answer that question, I would like to also share with all of you here what is basically the target of Malaysia as a country with regards to digitalization. Now, if we have a target for the country, it is always related in terms of the economic point of view with regards to the GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, GDP itself. Our target for the GDP for digital economy as a whole, for the whole of Malaysia, is to have a 25.5% target where digital economy can play a role in terms of the GDP. And that target of 25.5% relates to a target where we can achieve that in 2025. We are now at 2024, and we hope, and if you might be asking, what is the current GDP for digital economy as a whole now? We are now at 23.5. So 23.5 to 25.5 itself, moving a percentage of the needle itself requires a lot of work. It's not easy to move even 1% of it. So there are a lot of things that needs to be done, hence why MDEC, the agency that we are from, under the Ministry of Digital, we are tasked to build up everything with regards to digitalization, in which blockchain, the likes of blockchain, the likes of AI, the likes of IoT and so on and so forth, had been the cornerstone in terms of our digitalization efforts throughout. Now, when we look from the technology enabler where blockchain plays a role, AI plays a role, IoT plays a role as well as so many other technology enablers, include cybersecurity, drones technology, and so on and so forth, we have identified 9 main sectors in which we believe these sectors will play a role in contributing towards the percentage of the GDP. How do we do that? And what are the sectors itself? There are 9 sectors that we believe digitalization can play a role. That would be agriculture, tourism, finance, Islamic digital economy, services, cities, health, content and creative. This is where the animation and gaming industry will play a role. So 9 sectors had been identified to move the needle moving forward to achieve the 25.5%. And the way that we're going to do it is that we will be developing high catalytic projects. What do you mean by definition by high catalytic projects? It's where these are the projects that will play a major role in turning industry as a whole. Okay, these are digital projects that is being supported by the technology enabler moving forward. And these are the projects, the high catalytic projects that will turn around the industry, that will turn around the sectors that we look at. Those projects that has never been developed before, this is where the enablers will come in. And hence why, answering to your question, Burcu, is that this question of blockchain and IoT and AI would be the catalyst or the enabler that will allow for the change of the industry as a whole. Now, we have gone through, the main question is, how does it contribute towards the sectors itself? Our agriculture sector has been using blockchain very extensively. Our health sectors has also been introduced to blockchain. The government itself, under the Ministry of Digital, is setting up our first national AI office that will look into developing the AI industry as a whole from the policy point of view as well as regulation. We have planned to build up the industry ecosystem through the likes of having additional sectors that's going to be involved. So that is basically in a nutshell how we have plans for our blockchain and AI initiative, as well as Web 3.0. Yeah, I hope we answered questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Datuk. And I think it is very nice to see that the governments are also on the side of it, because we can see that, like institutions such as UN, we can of course push an agenda, but of course without the approval of the governments, we really cannot move a lot. So seeing like governments focusing on new technologies to make their work more efficient, to make it more accessible to those communities that they cannot get through technology is really very, very crucial. So just a follow-up question on it, because we really also had like several like projects focusing on like agriculture. So I want to ask you, can you give an example of this like agriculture, like utilization of blockchain technology, like in which areas they use it? Do you have a specific example you can share with us? Yes. Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. From agriculture itself, agriculture is a sector, right? And blockchain is the enabler itself. But coming up with the high catalytic project itself, we are looking from the perspective of halal traceability. As you know, the worldwide, the number of Muslims worldwide is about 23% Muslims in worldwide. And Malaysia had been known to be the leading, playing a leading role in terms of developing the halal industry. And hence why halal traceability as an impact high catalytic project has been introduced by us to secure or to enhance the traceability of all the goods and services from farm to the table. Yeah? So we had been introducing the blockchain technology for the agriculture sector that leads between the farming sector up to the consumer sector itself. So this is where halal traceability is not just a matter of looking into the supply chain, it is a matter of tracking the stock taking as well as tracing as well as verification of the goods from the point of farming up to the consumer itself. And this doesn't only apply to in Malaysia as a whole, it also applies to worldwide. And hence we are leading the initiative in terms of our halal traceability moving forward. So that is one of the questions.
Thank you so much. Like for the last 4 years, I have been living in Denmark, but I'm originally from Turkey, and I can see that the Muslim community in Europe, they really care about the like halal aspect. So I think your solution could be very good way, kind of for people to trust the meat that they buy. Mostly Muslim communities living in diaspora, they mostly go to their own markets, like Syrian markets, Turkish markets. If they maybe could track this meat in global, like let's say like in local supermarkets, maybe they wouldn't have to do that, so it will really save them a lot of time to not go to the market. So I think it's very nice use cases that could be even like expand to the Europe and to diaspora as well.
Yes, but I would like to share the issues and challenges in implementing this sort of initiative. Yeah, it requires an integration, understanding, and cooperation between many various agencies in the government. It does not only require MDEC, we are the solution provider in terms of technology or digitalization, but there is also the Islamic agency that looks into the certification. There is the agriculture industry in this sense that looks into the farming, and hence every role of the agency must be talking to each other with a common purpose. And connecting the dots at the end of the day is very, very important to ensure the seamless integration between all the agencies. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your answer. So I would like to move to Mr. Dilip. And I have checked a little bit of your background, and I can see that you have a wide range of experience in government institutions. So you worked previously in the Indian Chamber of Commerce, National Skill Development Corporation, and other industries such as automobile industry. So I picked this question specifically for you because of your wide of experience. So I would like to ask you, what specific areas of governance, such as finance, healthcare, or supply chain management, do you see as the most promising for the blockchain integration for your country, which is in this case India, and why?
So thank you, Burcu, for that. And just to give you context, right? And this is very important in the framework to answer your question of the challenge that the Web3 ecosystem faces. So, like Datuk mentioned, the amounts of initiatives that Malaysia is kind of taking. So if you look at the digital stack in India, right? And I'll just give you, we have already a biometric digital identity system, right? 1.3 billion people on it. We have, it actually processes 70 million authentications in a day. We have a unified payments initiative, and we're going to launch a unified lending initiative, 9.41 billion transactions a month, right? 200 million people use UPI daily. We have a DigiLocker, which is like a wallet, digital wallet, which provides about 6.2 billion digital documents and for verification. And we also have a national health mission with 500 million IDs for digital health. More than 228 million digital health records are linked to the platform. We have the e-rupee, which is the digital voucher system, 10 million e-rupee vouchers. We have the government e-marketplace, etc. We also have a fast electronic toll collection system. Now, and we have about 20 million verified educational certificates in a e-verification thing. So this is the Web 2 enabled structure, and whenever we go to a Web 3, either permissioned or permissionless architecture to the government, the first thing that everybody says is, can it scale, right? Can you actually do this on-chain, off-chain? How do you compare with it? At the same time, the Ministry of Electronics, right, has come up with a national blockchain policy, right? And they're looking at building a national blockchain framework. So what the vision is really to connect different chains and enable interoperability and establish common standards to integrate blockchain and existing digital platforms. And they're looking at offering blockchain as a service to allow government departments and enterprises to quickly deploy blockchain without needing to set up their own networks, right? Priority sectors. Priority sectors is really banking and financial services, use blockchain as to secure digital transaction, trade finance, know your customer, which is digital identity, and faster cross-border payments. The challenge is, how do we meet that 9.4 billion transactions a month in a decentralized, permissionless architecture? Agriculture and food security, supply chain traceability. You talked of halal food, but this is more important here because we have a huge, we distribute free grain to over 800 million Indians there. How do you ensure end-to-end traceability? How do you ensure traceability of jute bags? It may be funny, but jute bags are a major commodity, and how do you ensure that they don't get lost? Movement of goods during emergency and transparency. During COVID, we developed a COVID app. It was a decentralized app. The one ONDC, which is a rival in somewhat sort of parallel to, let's say, Amazon or Flipkart or equivalent, is on an open network token-based architecture. But again, how do you actually enable that to happen? So and the government wants to promote public-private partnerships. We have actually done, we have 30 states which have done different projects. Real-world asset tokenization is one, agriculture implementation is the second, supply chain implementation is third, health application is there. But currently it is distributed among the 30 states and there's no national program. That's the background. If you want me to get into specifics on solutions, I could actually talk about it.
Yeah, I'm specifically very interested in the digital identity aspect of it, because now with UNDP we are going to have a blockchain academy. This is going to be launched next week, the open call for it, and we can see that there is a lot of interest with the identification, because of the fact that most UN agencies are working with refugees. This is very, very important and crucial point. So maybe you can share with us a little bit in terms of the digital identity, how is it used, and where do you see that it can have an impact also for communities such as refugees or other communities that are facing the problem of identity that also Robert mentioned earlier.
Okay, so I didn't know. So this is my digital identity, right? This is available on the net. If anybody, it's like a zero knowledge kind of a verification. You can say that if I want to authenticate myself with somebody else, I send them that this is my Aadhaar number, and they can verify, is this Aadhaar number belonging to so-and-so? It just comes back to yes or no, right? Or if I want, this is actually, if I'm traveling domestically in India, this is my boarding pass. I just have to register onto it, and I walk into the airport, I can actually go out, right? The challenge here is, like actually just presented by your colleague from UNDP, this is a centralized system. So the opponents to digital identity, a centralized digital identity, say that this is too much control by the government, right? Because they know everyone's identity, they know what they're tracking. You know, your Aadhaar is linked to your mobile phone, it is linked to your tax payment. So that's the challenge, and therefore a decentralized application for Aadhaar in India or digital identity anywhere else in the world will be a great solution. India, you know, unfortunately we have 1.3 billion IDs here, and you know, the scale is large. But in smaller communities, it can actually work. And it's very simple. You go into a, there is a private sector initiative which has taken a lot of flack for this, right? Because they were collecting iris information here. The government digital identity also collects fingerprints and your iris scan, and that is your digital identity. It has never been hacked so far. Even if your number becomes known, it's not a major thing because it's not an authentication factor. Civil society people say that, you know, people are left out, and there are areas where there's no connectivity. So if you're going to insist on this as a means to give direct benefit transfer and others, how do you address the left out people? And therefore, there is a Supreme Court ruling that it's not essentially required, but if you have it, it's a good thing to have.
Yes, thank you so much for the answer. So I would like to now move to Abu Dhabi, and we have with us Abdulla. And Abdullah, when I checked your organization, I saw that you had a bold statement on your website saying that you want to establish Abu Dhabi as a global hub for blockchain technology. So whenever you want to have a global hub in that scale, you of course have to get support from the government. So I wanted to ask you, how does United Arab Emirates government approach the balance between fostering blockchain innovation and ensuring regulatory compliance and security?
When we put the bold statement, we want to be the hub, the global hub for Web3 and blockchain technologies, we are already the global hub for blockchain and Web3 technologies, whether it's from regulations, whether it's from funding, whether it's from government initiatives, such as Mr. Dilip just spoke about, the digital identity platform. The UAE already had the digital identity platform using blockchain technology since 2013. Regulations were set up there during 2017 when we saw the OneCoin hack, a lot of failed ICOs back in the days. And we did go out and put regulations there for the market, for companies, exchanges, protocols, layer ones, layer twos. You can name it since day one, where people were not actually understanding in what they want to do. What we want to build right now is actually incorporating the ideation stages of companies in the region, and actually instead of people going to how we see back in the days to the Bay Area and Silicon Valley and all of that, we are becoming the Silicon Valley of the global stage. Whether it's from blockchain and crypto or AI, you guys saw the news. The United Arab Emirates government launched between the UAE and the US a $1 trillion AI initiative. On top of that, $100 billion fund with BlackRock for AI initiatives and Web3. So we are always having a leap ahead of what we want to do. Ourselves as the center, the support we received from the sovereign funds and other government departments, and what we want to do in bringing partners from all around the region and initiatives that we want to push, the agenda that we want to accomplish worldwide. We used to say before, from the world to Abu Dhabi, now we want to put the statement from Abu Dhabi to the world. And that's how we want to start accomplishing things, and whether it's from investments, whether it's from the incubator accelerator program that we have and funding. As you guys know, we have $100 million fund for investments, then we have another fund for incubator accelerator. So we want to start pushing these agendas and how we want to accomplish it and all of that.
Yes, thank you so much. During the lunch, you told me that when you were 18, you were one of the like pioneers in your country to put it on the policy. So can you tell me what was on your mind when you were 18 that you wanted to push for such an agenda? And I also told you that actually I was quite surprised that they accepted such a thing from someone that's pretty young and listened to you and heard you. So maybe you can tell us why you think your government is very interested to support such an initiatives, and why did you want to do that when you were also very young yourself?
Supporting the youth is always the #1 priority for the government. As we see the rulers, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the President of United Arab Emirates, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the Vice President and ruler of Dubai, always says that our main priority is the youth, and what they want to accomplish and how they want to push things. Who are the allies that want to push these initiatives with us? They will always support and push what we want to do. Yes, we might create something and fail, but failure is a step ahead of what we want to accomplish. When it comes even to international things, India is one of the biggest ally for the United Arab Emirates. When they created the CBDCs, sending international payments through blockchain and all of that, then China came ahead and doing these things. We do see this part of the region in Asia, APAC, and Middle East starting to grow more and more. We see how people used to see Europe and US. I would say, with no hard feelings, that was the past. And whether it's in Asia and APAC and Middle East, that's how the future is going to be, from youth, from governments, from associations, organizations, institutions. This is the growing region. And as I said, this is the next Silicon Valley that we want to accomplish altogether.
Yes, thank you so much, Abdullah. So sorry that Alexander, that I made you wait a little bit. So you are part of the research center, and I'm sure you mapped out different uses of blockchain technology, across different countries and also across different sectors. So I wanted to ask you this question about the future. So looking to the future, what national or regional goals do you believe will advocate for blockchain? And what impact do you envision it will have over the next decade?
Yeah, so thank you very much for to the organizers also for having me and inviting me here. It's really great to see what's happening in this area. and to also see the great projects that were presented this morning. So we are basically an initiative by 5 Austrian public universities and a lot of researchers and companies to kind of create a unified research space and advocate also for blockchain in usage and applications. So we don't research the alphabet, it's the Austrian Blockchain Center, just to make the name clear. I mean, when it comes to which use cases, I think that depends on what kind of what countries you look at. So, for example, financial services, I've heard a lot here, and a lot of people are interested. If you talk to anyone in Austria, it seems to be like far away in the future, and we have a financial system. We can do money transfers, at least in euro. I mean, if you want to transfer money somewhere else, it gets way more difficult, but like all the DeFi and crypto is interesting, but not for like revolutionary the financial services industry. So what we obviously care a lot about at the moment is climate change, and basically bringing initiatives about CO2 reduction and all that kind. So with the certificates, renewable energy sources. I mean, I don't know how everyone is here, but basically when the war in Ukraine broke out, we realized, like everyone in Austria, how dependent on Russian gas we are. So I would not say that it's all of our gas, but it's very close to all of the gas. So I think it's more than 90% of gas imports that Austria received from Russia. So really there is a lot of interest in fighting climate change, making the energy revolution change happening. So that's an area of application where we see a lot of potential. And the other initiatives that are bigger at the moment, I would say, are in the digital product path direction, like tracing and tracking, supply chain applications. That's why I would see a lot of use cases in our.
Yes, thank you so much. And we can see that like we had the panelists from like different regions and different countries, and we can see that based on the needs of the region, as of course based on what the population wants to see, we can see that like for instance like climate is very big issue. I mean like it is very big like agenda for European countries, so they want to focus and use like the blockchain for like climate issues. So I think we can see that like blockchain like can be used from different sectors in different countries too. That is why within the UNDP, we are going to launch our blockchain academy, and then we would like to like equip our colleagues to make sure that they know how to use blockchain for the countries that they are serving. So we have a very little time left, as I believe. So I want to just share one thing with you, like as the last like anecdote. Like a year ago or a few years ago, like during our like internal meeting within the UNDP, one of our like senior manager told us that we as UNDP, the colleagues, are the like international servants. And I think here we have people also like from government institutions, and they are of course the national like servants for the countries that they are hired. And I believe that like of course like all of us like have a job that we have to complete from 9 to 5, but at the same time it is also our role to make like innovative tools that are coming to our countries. That is why I think seeing governments are very actually like taking like initiatives on it, and we as the like UN agencies, also like the academia, also taking a role in it, is gonna bring really like a lot of change. And with this like academy that we are gonna launch, I can see that there is a lot of interest, and I'm really happy to meet with like all of you. It is really very like inspiring, and I think we had like very good session, and I think like it also gave me a kind of hope that we can really expand it to other countries. It shouldn't be only AI, because like AI is very hype, and I think blockchain technology together with AI can be even stronger, and we can really see that with the use of this as well together. So like I would like to thank you once more. It was a very good session, and I hope you also enjoyed it too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.